Discovery and awakening. The great halls of the Xeraxian Imperium echoed with the sounds of celebration. Towering crystalline arches reflected the azure light of 1,000 ceremonial lanterns as Emperor Tezrix XIII addressed the gathered dignitaries. For 10,000 cycles, our kind has sailed between stars. We have mapped the void, tamed savage worlds, and brought order to chaos. We stand as the first and greatest of all civilizations. Thunderous applause followed his words. The Xeraxians' slender forms, with their iridescent scaled skin and six-fingered hands, moved in perfect unison as they performed the ritual gesture of imperial pride. Their history told them they were the first, the pioneers who had achieved faster-than-light travel, while other species still huddled in their primitive shelters. Commander Tala Vex stood at attention among her fellow officers, her ceremonial armor glinting in the light. As chief xenarchaeologist of the Imperial Survey Corps, she had personally catalogued the ruins of 100 worlds. Each expedition had reinforced the Xeraxian narrative that theirs was the first civilization to reach the stars. Until today. The celebration was interrupted by the arrival of a junior officer who approached Tala with uncharacteristic urgency. "Commander, forgive the intrusion, but listening post Kilara has detected something unusual." Minutes later, Tala stood in the dimly lit communications center beneath the palace, staring at the data streams flowing across the screens. "The signal originated here," explained technician Zelos, highlighting a star system on the galactic map. "A system we designated NS-7293. Third planet." "That's a dead world," Tala said, frowning. "Category 4, post-extinction ecosystem. Primitive species wiped out by natural disaster." "Yes, Commander. But the signal, it's artificial and complex." Tala studied the waveforms. They were indeed artificial, a repeating pattern too precise to be natural. "How long has it been transmitting?" "That's the strange part. Our analysis suggests it began only 3 days ago, after being dormant for, possibly, millennia." Emperor Tezrix took less than a day to approve the expedition. The Xeraxian belief in their primacy was not merely cultural pride. It was the foundation of their imperial legitimacy. Any challenge to this narrative needed to be investigated and explained away. The Imperial cruiser Voidcutter emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the NS-7293 system. Through the viewports, Tala could see a rather ordinary yellow star with a family of planets. The third world, the source of the mysterious signal, hung like a blue-green jewel against the blackness. "Earth," senior historian Kelvin murmured, reading from the ancient database. "That was their name for it. The dominant species called themselves humans." "What do our records say about them?" Tala asked. "Very little. They achieved rudimentary spaceflight, established a few orbital habitats, and a small colony on their fourth planet. Then came the cataclysm, a series of supervolcanic eruptions followed by an asteroid impact. The few survivors regressed to a pre-technological state and eventually died out." Tala frowned. "That doesn't explain an advanced signal activating after thousands of years." The landing craft descended through Earth's atmosphere, touching down in a region once known as Europe. Once great cities had been reclaimed by forests and plains, with only the occasional crumbling structure visible above the vegetation. The signal led them to a mountain range where the entrance to what appeared to be a bunker was concealed beneath centuries of overgrowth. The massive door, constructed of an alloy unknown to Xeraxian metallurgy, stood partially open, as if inviting them in. "This architecture," whispered Kelvin as they entered the facility, "it's far more advanced than anything humans should have been capable of." Lights activated automatically as they moved deeper into the complex, revealing corridors lined with technology that looked more advanced than Xeraxian equivalents. The walls were marked with symbols in an unknown script, along with diagrams of star systems. "This contradicts everything in our historical records," said Tala, running her scanner over a console that hummed to life at her touch. "These humans weren't primitive at all. The central chamber contained a holographic projection system that activated as they entered. A three-dimensional map of the galaxy materialized, with thousands of points highlighted across its spiral arms. "Those are colonies," gasped Kelvin. "Human colonies, across the entire galaxy." A voice spoke, synthesized but clear, in perfect Ziraxian. "Welcome, visitors. You have activated Earth Defense Network. Dormancy Protocol Alpha. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions." The Ziraxians froze. The facility wasn't just preserved. It was active, and it had been monitoring them since their arrival. "I am Commander Tala Vex of the Ziraxian Imperium," Tala said carefully. "We are here on a scientific expedition." "Ziraxian," the voice repeated. "Species catalogs. Timeline deviation detected." A pause followed. "Warning. Unauthorized activation of Earth Defense Network may trigger Genesis Protocol. Please await verification." The holographic display shifted, revealing images of Earth as it once was, a planet of sprawling megacities, orbital rings, and massive spacecraft, unlike anything in Ziraxian records. The images showed humans not as primitive ape descendants, but as masters of technologies the Ziraxians had yet to develop. "This is impossible," whispered Kelvin. "Our records state the humans never advanced beyond chemical rockets and basic orbital platforms." "Your records are incomplete," the synthetic voice stated. "Earth's history was obscured by necessity." Further exploration revealed more chambers, including one sealed behind a massive vault door inscribed with warnings in 27 different alien languages, most unknown to the Ziraxians. "Do not OP in. Read one warning in an ancient Ziraxian dialect, so old that only Kelvin could partially decipher it. G nini is pro Tokyo ul containment." Despite the warnings, curiosity drove them forward. Using their equipment, they managed to bypass the security systems and open the vault. Inside, suspended in a field of energy, was a small crystalline cube pulsing with internal light. "Interdiction field compromised," announced the facility's eye. "Genesis Protocol initialization commencing." The cube rose from its containment field and expanded, projecting light that coalesced into a humanoid form, a woman with dark skin and eyes that seemed to reflect starlight. "I am Aurora, Guardian Intelligence of Earth," the projection said. "You should not have come here. You should not have awakened us." "What is the Genesis Protocol?" demanded Tala. "The last defense of humanity," Aurora replied. "And now, thanks to your interference, it has begun." Throughout the facility, dormant systems activated. Deep beneath the surface, massive power plants roared to life. Across Earth, similar facilities began to awaken from millennia of slumber. "Your histories are false," Aurora continued. "Humanity didn't die out. We left. We scattered across the stars to hide from what was coming. Earth was abandoned as a decoy, its true history erased." "Hide from what?" asked Tala, a creeping dread filling her. "The void," Aurora said simply. "An entity that devours civilizations. It hunted us across the galaxy until we developed the means to hide our presence. Now, with the Genesis Protocol activated, we have just sent a signal to all human colonies. They will return, and the void will follow." As if to emphasize her words, alarms began to sound throughout the facility. On screens across the chamber, they watched as massive structures, weapons platforms, defense systems, and communication arrays rose from beneath Earth's oceans and from its once dormant volcanoes. Earth wasn't a dead world. It was a sleeping fortress, and they had just woken it up. Legacy of humanity. Back aboard the Void Cutter, Tala struggled to explain what they had discovered to Emperor Tezrix via quantum communication. "Your Eminence, everything we believed about Earth and humans was wrong," she said. "They were not primitive. They were advanced far beyond even our current level of technology." The Emperor's holographic image flickered with interference. "That is a bold claim, Commander. Our historical records were deliberately falsified," Tala interrupted, knowing such boldness could cost her career, either by humans themselves to hide their true nature or by something else. She shared the sensor data they had collected. Earth was transforming before their eyes. Ancient defense systems, hidden beneath oceans and mountains, were activating. The planet's moon, previously thought to be natural, was revealing artificial structures beneath its dusty surface. This Aurora entity claims that humans spread throughout the galaxy thousands of years ago. Tala continued. They were fleeing from something called the Void. The Emperor's expression darkened. The Void. Are you certain that was the term used? Yes, Your Eminence. Does it have significance? A long pause followed. There are legends, ancient myths shared by several species. They speak of a darkness between stars that hunts intelligent life. I had dismissed them as primitive superstition. Additional Xeraxian research vessels arrived in Earth orbit over the following days. Teams of scientists and military personnel descended to the planet's surface, establishing outposts near the major human facilities that continued to activate across the globe. Aurora, seemingly resigned to the Xeraxian presence, began sharing limited information about humanity's past. Through holographic displays, the Xeraxians witnessed Earth's true history, a civilization that had achieved faster-than-light travel 8,000 years before the first Xeraxian starship. We were explorers first, Aurora explained, showing images of massive human generation ships venturing into the unknown. We found other intelligent species, helped them, learned from them. For 3,000 years, humanity expanded peacefully. Then what changed? Asked Tala. We encountered the Void on a world we called Proxima Centauri b. At first, we thought it was simply another life form, strange, but not threatening. We were wrong. The hologram shifted to show a dark, amorphous entity spreading across a planet's surface, consuming everything in its path. Cities crumbled, forests withered, oceans boiled away. It doesn't just destroy, it absorbs. Knowledge, technology, consciousness. Nothing is wasted. With each civilization it consumes, it becomes more powerful, more cunning. If it's so powerful, how did humanity survive? Kelvin asked. We didn't defeat it. We hid from it. We developed technology to mask our quantum signatures, to become invisible to its senses. Earth was our greatest achievement and our greatest sacrifice. We transformed it into a fortress, then abandoned it as a decoy while our colonies scattered and went dark. And now we've triggered your beacon, Tala said quietly. Yes, the Genesis Protocol was our last resort, a call for all human colonies to return and unite against the Void. But it will also draw the Void back to this sector of space. Over the next several weeks, the Xeraxians witnessed Earth's transformation accelerate. Massive shipyards emerged from beneath the oceans. Defense platforms assembled themselves in orbit. Aurora explained that these were automated systems, preparing for humanity's return. Emperor Tezrix arrived personally aboard the Imperial flagship Eternal Dominion, standing in the ancient human command center beneath what was once called North America. He gazed upon the technological marvels with poorly concealed envy. Your civilization, he said to Aurora, it achieved what we believed was impossible. Not impossible, the eye replied. Just hidden. We erased ourselves from history to survive. Why not share your technology? Together, perhaps we could have defeated the Void. Aurora interrupted. Many races thought the same. All were absorbed. Isolation was our only defense. Their discussion was interrupted by a perimeter alarm. Something was approaching the solar system. Multiple somethings, traveling faster than any known Xeraxian vessel. They're here, Aurora said, and for the first time, Tala detected what seemed like emotion in the eye's voice, something akin to relief, or perhaps anticipation. Hundreds of ships emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. They varied in design but shared an aesthetic that matched the architecture of Earth's facilities. Sleek, organic curves combined with geometric precision. Human vessels, confirmed AURORA. The colonies have responded to the call. The first diplomatic meeting between humans and Ziraxians took place aboard the human flagship Mnemosyne. Tala accompanied Emperor Tezrix as part of his delegation, her heart racing with a xenoarchaeologist's excitement at meeting a supposedly extinct species. The humans were surprisingly diverse, varying in height, skin color, and even basic morphology. Some appeared almost identical to the ancient images, while others showed signs of adaptation to different environments. All moved with a fluid grace that spoke of enhanced reflexes and possibly artificial augmentation. Their leader introduced herself as High Admiral Helena Mbiki, her dark skin and commanding presence reminiscent of Aoraore's chosen avatar. For 5,000 years, we have lived in hiding, Admiral Mbiki began. Scattered across 27 galaxies, disguised as native species or living in isolated pockets where the void could not sense us. Yet you abandoned your homeworld, said Emperor Tezrix, a note of accusation in his voice. We transformed it, corrected the Admiral. Earth became both our greatest decoy and our ultimate weapon. Everything here, the technology, the defense systems, even Aurora herself, was designed for one purpose: to give humanity a fighting chance when the time came to face the void again. And now that time has come, Tala said, understanding dawning, because we activated the Genesis Protocol. Admiral Mbiki nodded. The signal has been sent. The void will have detected it. Already, our outermost colonies report unusual activity in the space between galaxies. What exactly is this void? Demanded Emperor Tezrix. You speak of it as if it's a sentient entity. It is that and more, said another human, an elderly man with pale skin and augmented eyes that glowed with subtle light. We believe it originated in another universe, entering ours through a tear in space-time. It exists partly in our dimension and partly outside it, which is why conventional weapons are useless against it. Admiral Mbiki gestured, and a holographic display appeared showing a dark, shifting mass spreading between stars. It's coming. We estimate 3 standard months before it reaches this sector. Then we should evacuate, said Emperor Tezrix. The Ziraxian Imperium has 10,000 worlds. We can. You can't run, interrupted Admiral Mbiki. No one can. Not anymore. The void has evolved, adapted. It can track faster than light signatures across intergalactic distances now. The only reason your civilization has survived this long is because you weren't worth its attention yet. A heavy silence fell over the gathering. Finally, Tala spoke up. You said Earth was transformed into the ultimate weapon. What did you mean? Admiral Mbiki's expression shifted to something unreadable. The Genesis Protocol isn't just a beacon. It's a trap. For 5 millennia, Earth has been absorbing energy from its sun, from cosmic radiation, from the fabric of space-time itself. The entire planet is now essentially a massive energy battery. For what purpose? Asked Emperor Tezrix. To create a counterforce capable of pushing the void back into its own dimension and sealing the breach. The implications were staggering. You're saying Earth itself is a weapon? Tala asked. Earth is a sacrifice, corrected Admiral Mbiki. When the void arrives, we will trigger the final phase of Genesis. Earth will release all its stored energy in a single burst, enough to tear open a new dimensional rift and force the void through it. And everything on the planet, Tezrix asked. Will be destroyed, the Admiral confirmed. That's why we evacuated millennia ago. That's why we left only Aurora and automated systems behind. In the weeks that followed, more human ships arrived. Not just warships, but massive colony vessels carrying millions of humans from across the galaxy. The Ziraxian Imperium, accepting the reality of the threat, dispatched its own fleets to Earth's defense. Together, humans and Ziraxians prepared for war against something neither fully understood. Ancient defense platforms were upgraded with Ziraxian technology. human quantum cryptography, and enhanced Xeraxian communication systems. For the first time in recorded history, two advanced civilizations worked as true equals. Tala spent much of her time with a human scientist named Eli Vash, learning about Earth's true history and the technologies humanity had developed. "Why did you create false historical records?" she asked him one day as they calibrated a sensor array in Earth orbit. "Why make it appear that humans had died out as primitives?" Eli's expression turned somber. "The void hunts by sensing technological signatures. Advanced civilizations shine like beacons to it. By erasing our history and abandoning Earth as a seemingly primitive world, we mask our true nature." But the Xeraxians developed advanced technology, and the void didn't come for us, Tala pointed out. "It was occupied elsewhere," Eli said, "consuming other galaxies, other civilizations. But it was always coming back. It never forgets a world it has visited." The first signs of the void's approach came 3 months later, just as Admiral Mbeki had predicted. Distant star systems went dark. Electromagnetic anomalies rippled through subspace. A coldness that had nothing to do with temperature permeated the space around Earth. On the day of confrontation, Tala stood on the bridge of the Void Cutter, now integrated into the joint human-Xeraxian fleet. Through the viewport, she could see Earth, beautiful and terrible, pulsing with energies so powerful they distorted light around the planet. "It's here," announced Auroray's voice over the fleet-wide communication system. The fabric of space tore open, and the void emerged, a writhing darkness that seemed to consume light itself. It spread across the sky, blotting out stars, moving with purpose toward Earth. "All ships, maintain position," ordered Admiral Mbeki from the fleet flagship. "Earth defense systems are activating final phase." On the planet below, the stored energy of 5,000 years began to release. Beams of blinding light shot upward from every continent, converging in orbit before striking out at the void. The darkness recoiled, then surged forward with renewed intensity. Tendrils of nothingness reached out toward the fleet. Several vessels, both human and Xeraxian, were engulfed, vanishing without a trace. "It's not enough," came Auroray's voice, now strained. "The void has grown too powerful. Earth cannot generate sufficient energy for complete dimensional displacement." Emperor Tezrix's voice cut through the communications. "Then we will add our power to yours. All Xeraxian vessels, channel your reactor outputs through the human dimensional arrays." One by one, the great ships of the Xeraxian Imperium linked their energy cores to Earth's defense grid, adding their strength to the assault against darkness. The combined energy beam intensified, carving a hole through the void center. "Dimensional rift forming," reported Auroray. 15%, 30%. The void struck back. Tendrils of darkness wrapped around Earth, trying to smother the energy beams. The planet's surface began to crack, the strain of channeling such power too great for even its reinforced structure. "We cannot maintain this output," warned Auroray. "Planetary core destabilizing." In that moment of crisis, Tala made a decision. "The Void Cutter carries experimental quantum singularity torpedoes," she told her crew. "If we detonate them at the center of the void as Earth's energy beams are hitting it." She didn't need to finish the thought. Her crew understood. It was a suicide mission. "I volunteer to pilot the delivery vessel," said her first officer. "No," Tala replied. "This is my responsibility." Minutes later, a small craft broke from the Xeraxian line, racing toward the heart of darkness with its deadly cargo. Through the comms came Emperor Tezrix's voice. "Commander Vex, the Xeraxian Imperium will remember your sacrifice. Tell our historians to get it right this time," Tala replied, allowing herself a small smile as her ship plunged into the abyss. The detonation, when it came, was not an explosion but an implosion, a point of infinite density that pulled the void in upon itself. Combined with Earth's energy beams, it created the dimensional rift needed to force the void back to its universe of origin. In a flash of light that temporarily blinded every sensor in the system, The void vanished. Where it had been, only empty space remained, and floating amid the debris, miraculously intact, Tala's craft. Earth survived, though scared beyond recognition. Its sacrifice had not been total, but the planet would need centuries to recover. Already, human and Xeraxian scientists were discussing joint restoration projects. In the aftermath, Emperor Tezrix addressed his people. For 10,000 cycles, we believed ourselves to be the first civilization among the stars. We were wrong, and that error nearly cost us everything. From this day forward, the Xeraxian historical archives will be amended to reflect the truth that we are but one thread in a tapestry of intelligent life that spans not just space, but time itself. Admiral Mbiki, standing beside the Emperor on the broadcast, added, "And humanity will emerge from hiding. Our colonies will reestablish open contact with other civilizations. The age of isolation is over." As the two leaders formalized the first Galactic Accord, Tala looked out at the stars with new eyes. The universe was older, stranger, and far more interconnected than the Xeraxians had ever imagined. And somewhere out there, other ancient civilizations might still be waiting to be rediscovered.